On this computer. Awesome. All right, guys. So welcome. Let me put the Actually, I'm going to keep it just like this. And what's today's date? I always forget today's date. All right. So it's October 18th. So welcome, guys, to the team call, weekly teams call. Thank you so much for coming on and taking time from your busy schedule to be here. You know, every single week we have these calls, and I just want you guys to know that they are 100% an investment in you, an investment in your business. And so I just want to say that I greatly appreciate every single one of you for making sure to put this in your calendar and making sure to make this a non-negotiable for yourself and making time for this. So a couple just quick announcements. It is past actually make sure everybody's muted. 1 second. Mute participants, mute all. Okay. All right, so it is past the middle of the month, and so we still have plenty of time left to reach our goals for this month. We now have 30-day breakaway, which is now available for not just coaches, but also for customers. And we also have MBF, which is still a really popular package, and still lots of opportunity to get people involved and to get them into your challenge group that's either starting this week, this month, or if you've already started promoting for your November group, but plenty of time to get people involved, plenty of time to reach for your goals. Another thing I want to put a plug in for is the Unstress app through our system. So how many of you have tried one of the meditations on the Unstress app? Great. Do you guys like it? Is it really, it's like high quality, like similar to like Headspace and Calm. It's like super amazing. And I love that they're only, they're like less than 10 minutes. They have such a great variety. And so, as someone who used to have a really kind of monkey mind and used to really struggle, with just racing thoughts and like that, or even like just silence can be uncomfortable for some people. When things are too silent, they feel like they need to fill it up with talking. I'm telling you, meditation will help tremendously with that. And even if you sit for a minute or even 2 minutes of meditation and you build up to even 5 minutes, I'm telling you, it makes a world of a difference. We're just, 2 minutes of learning and training your mind to just kind of, I don't want to use the word quiet because I don't really feel like the mind truly ever fully, it never shuts off, but it just kind of, it never shuts off. You would be dead if it shuts off. It never shuts off. But it just kind of allows I don't know. It really does get quiet in a way. You're just kind of like just there and being present. So I just want to really put a plug in and also be talking to your customers about it, letting them know this is a good thing to kind of reach out to all your customers and let them know, hey, have you had a chance to check out this free add-on that's now within your bod system, around meditation? It's a great way to maybe connect with old customers just to add value and provide value, because it's not anything that they need to buy, right? It's not anything that they need to purchase. So it's a beautiful way to connect. So tonight's call is going to be, I don't have any slides prepared for this call. So it's just going to be kind of, you're going to look at me, Luke and I. Yeah, we've been busy. We've been
a lot of training this week.
Yeah, a lot of training. We've been in personal development mode. We had Beachbody Leadership, which was amazing. It is definitely something that if you are someone who is a business builder in this business, and if you're here, for the most part, you probably are, leadership should be on your vision board. It should be something that you are pushing for. We have the New Leader program, which is in January of this upcoming 2021. And that is for coaches who hit 1 star by the end of the year and have 10 elite points. And so if that is a goal for you this year and you're close to it, make sure you're talking to your sponsoring coach to see how you will qualify for that. We've had coaches on our team qualify for that. And then leadership, the main leadership is for 5 star and above. And it's a really amazing opportunity to really get training and connect with other leaders within the company. And so we had that. And then we also invested in Danny Johnson. So we had a Danny Johnson was the virtual this weekend. And so we've been literally, I literally told the people who were here, I was like, all right, I have a team call. So I need my computer and I need to go, and it's like the end of the event. So I need to do the call. So literally just coming off of that. And so with that, so what I wanted this call to be about is about ending this year strong, right? Because it's the middle of October And there is still plenty of time left within this month, within November, within December, to go after some major goals for yourself, to go after, what were some of those goals that you had back in January, right? When you think about what were your goals back in January and where are you, when it comes to those goals? And the reason why I wanted to talk about this is because how many of you kind of feel like your energy's been kind of like, nah, like it's just been like totally down the drain, totally like struggle mode, totally like, I don't know if I even want to do this. Be honest, it's like, I don't even know if I can do this. I feel like I'm not, I'm not being a good coach. I feel like I'm failing at my own. I feel like I can't have success. All of these kind of, limiting thoughts and all of these kind of, obstacles that we have in our mind with our limiting beliefs. And so that is something that a lot of us have been feeling. And that's just, I'm just being completely transparent. Even I have felt very low energy. And that's when I was like, all right, let me start talking to, let me talk to the team. Let me talk to the leaders. I started talking to the leaders. I realized I was not alone in how I was feeling. And we were all feeling just that kind of lull that sometimes can come around this season. And I genuinely think that it has a lot to do. I think it's just natural. I think naturally, we're going into a fall, winter season, and sometimes this is what can happen with the change in the seasons, and a lot of people can start to lose momentum. Between now and December, and January is when a lot of people start retracting on their habits. They start gaining weight. They start eating all the sweets. They start, you guys have all these they're going to have parties, they're going to have gatherings, they're going to have, it's going to get cold outside. You're going to want the cookies, the cakes, all of these things that just because you're a coach, trust me, it doesn't like, even 8 years in, it doesn't go away. You're still like, okay, I'm at a party and I want this piece of cake, or I want to go eat, these biscuits, or I want this mac and cheese, or I want this stuffing, or I want, this comfort food. So either way, all this to say that it's something that's normal to feel a little in your business or with your goals. And what I'm trying to what I want to share is, number one, by talking about it, I want you to see that it can be normal, so that you're not in your head telling yourself that you're a failure because you're feeling this way. Does that make sense? I don't want you to think that, oh man, because I'm not super motivated like Stephanie and Chelsea and Ariel and Carla and all these people, like because I'm not like, high vibe and super high energy, I am failing as a coach, or I am failing in my goals. No, it's not about that. And I want you to know that anyone who's successful, we all go through these ups and downs. But the difference is that as you work on your personal development, as you work on yourself, as you become better, as you become stronger, you start to catch when you're getting off track. And then you say, okay, I see myself, I see the pattern, I see myself going into an old pattern, and I know what I need to do to get back on track. And that's what we're going to be talking about in this call is in a way, is how to end this year strong, how to get back on track, how to really refocus on ourselves and our goals and what we want to accomplish by the end of 2020, so that we can not only end this year really strong, but really the momentum that you're going to build for 2021 starts now. It starts, trust me, because when New Year's comes along and everyone is talking about New Year's resolutions and I want to lose the COVID-20 and the COVID-30 and like all this stuff that people are going to, I already know it's coming, right? I already know it's going to come where people are going to be like, I gained so much weight. I couldn't go to the gym. I was so stressed out. all these reasons and emotionally eating. And it come January, it's going to be like, new year. It's a brand new year. Like, let's go after our goals. And you want to position yourself. You want to start positioning yourself now. You want to start showing up for yourself, number one. And that's what we're going to talk a lot about, just showing up for yourself, number one. And then sharing that journey on social media so that you position yourself as the expert. You position yourself as the reliable person that someone can come to for advice, right? Reliability. People want to work with people who are trustworthy and reliable. And that happens by being consistent with yourself, sharing that on social media. And then come January, when everyone is ready, they're going to be thinking of you. And even if they're not ready to work with you, you want other people to be referring people to you. And so that is why it's like, okay, I know the past couple of weeks, maybe the last month, 2 months, you've been just like, it just hasn't been the best. And it's like, all right, today's a brand new day. Tomorrow's a Monday. It's a new week. The next 12, like look at kind of the next 12 weeks and say like, it actually is kind of like 12 weeks, 4, 8, 9, actually, no, it's less than 12 weeks. That would have been perfect, man. If it was like 12 weeks, 12 more weeks. I know I'm 1 week short. I was about to say that like there's the 12-week yearbook, and I'm like, oh man, sorry. I almost got excited. I was like, oh my God, it's exactly 12 weeks. We totally can do like either way. It's like 10 or 11 weeks left in the year, and we can make some major, we can progress in a really big way towards our goals. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about five ways that you can get back on track. And it's going to be, and in those 5 ways, we'll kind of decipher, and then we'll have any questions. And if you guys have any questions, or if anything kind of resonates with you, I'd love to see in the chat that like, oh yeah, that resonates with me, or, I really can relate to that, just so that I know that you guys are engaged again, because I don't have I normally have slides and pictures and stuff, but I didn't have an opportunity to do that. All right, so number 1, and you may have heard me talking about this recently, if you've been listening, if you guys listened to my team call that I had, not the team call, but the team live that I did within the team HYP, or just within, if I've been talking to you one-on-one. But number 1 has everything to do with you. It has everything to do with refocusing back on you. And I've been telling coaches, I've been telling friends, that I really believe that we need to come back home to ourselves, if that makes sense. We need to come back home to us. So often when we're chasing goals, we're chasing ranks, we're chasing, I don't know, whatever it is that you're working towards in your life, chasing different things. Maybe there's other goals outside of Beachbody you've been working towards, or maybe there's goals at work, and maybe you're stressed out with your work, and maybe, there's things that you're supposed to be doing for your work, your work outside of Beachbody that's really been stressful. And so as a result, you've taken the focus off of yourself. Who can feel that you've really taken the focus off of yourself, and you've been really putting it outward, and you've been just looking at everything else outside of you, and not really looking in, and not really filling up that cup first, filling up your cup first. And so that is what number 1 is. It's literally about coming back to yourself, building yourself back up, and that at the end of the day, it's time to up your game, right? It's time to up your game, because ultimately you are your greatest investment. You are your greatest investment. And the time that you put into yourself, the time that you put into moving your body, into, fueling your body and your mind, like that is going to come back to serve you, 100 times fold. And so at Leadership, we heard from Jay Shetty, who, I don't know if you guys have heard of Jay Shetty. He wrote the book, something with the monk. The guy, I forget what his book is, but it's a really good book. And he actually used to be a monk, and now he does all these viral videos, and he's really into helping people improve. And he gave us a mnemonic to think about when it comes to coming back home to ourselves. And the mnemonic is time. So like a watch, and I'll tell you what they each mean, but that's the mnemonic. And again, you're going to hear this, and I promise you, it's not going to be anything new. Okay. It's not going to be anything new. Think like a monk. Yeah. Thank you. Yep. Think like a monk. It's not going to be anything new. However, we all know that just because you know something doesn't mean that you know that you're actually being it. And it doesn't mean that you are actually doing it. And so until you are living it, and until you have results in it, then you actually don't know it. And that to me is always a big, it's always a nice humble pill to swallow for myself, because I have a lot of information, I know a lot, but if I'm not actively living it, if I'm not actively seeing results in it, then I really don't know it. And so just kind of be mindful of that. So time. So for the T stands for thankfulness. It stands for gratitude, right? And again, like I said, it's not something that you guys don't know. We've said this before. I've said, and I'm sure other people have said this, that starting your day with gratitude is incredibly important, especially, starting and ending your day with gratitude, because when you are in a grateful spirit, when you are thanking God or the universe or the spirit or whatever it is that you believe, but just in that gratitude, it's hard to feel angry. It's hard to feel anxious. It's hard to feel sad, because you just have to think of, 3 things every single morning that you're grateful for. So when you start your day with gratitude, you are setting yourself up to be in a good space and within good energy. So just T stands for thankfulness. So make sure. And so if you guys were doing this and then you fell off track, then let's get back on track. Let's go back to kind of that morning routine, right? This is a beautiful time to really, go back to that morning routine of working on yourself. I stands for inspiration. So every single day, doing something that inspires you, reading something that inspires you, doing something that brings you joy, right? That's important. And so, really thinking about what are you focusing on every single day, right? One thing that I listened to, I forgot who exactly said it this weekend, because I heard many people talk this weekend, but it was just how important it is to protect our morning, right? To protect that fresh mind that we wake up with every single morning. And one thing that they said was that 80% of people reach for their phone first thing in the morning. And I'm guilty of this. How many of you reach for your how many of you reach for your phone before you even say, if you have someone that you're sleeping with, like a partner in your bed, like you reach for your phone even before you even look at them. You're just like, it's just like you reaching for your phone. We're all guilty of it, so don't feel bad. But one thing I want you to be mindful of, and even something I've been mindful of, is that just realize that what that does to your energy state. If you wake up with a battery full of energy and you pick up that phone, what's going to be on that phone? You're going to see notifications, you're going to see news, you have more potential to see negativity, and you have more potential to see noise. So be mindful of that, because if you start consuming that first thing in the morning, before you fill yourself up, before you do your gratitude practice, before you do your personal development, before you do your journaling or your prayer, whatever it is that you do in the morning to fill yourself up, if you reach for that phone and that's the first thing that you do, just know that you have the potential, it has the potential to drain your energy. And then now you're starting the day at where it would have been on, a full battery, you've now potentially even sometimes drained your, energy. How many of you have looked at picked up the phone in the morning, saw a message that you didn't want to see, and it ruined your day? And it ruined, it took you all day to come back from that message, or you just and it's just really interesting. Like, if you really think about how much energy and how we have to protect that energy in the morning. So really thinking about that. And so one thing that I've told the leaders, and I tell this to you too, because at the end of the day, you're rising leaders, and it's really important to me that you guys are building businesses with balance. That is really important, because I'm in this to be here 10 years from now. And I want the same for you. This is a longevity, this is about building a solid business that we are, that we're happy in, that we find joy in, and that we're able to balance in within our lives. And, being able to find balance of not reaching for that phone first thing in the morning. Trust me, there's no one there that's going to be buying anything from you at, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock in the morning. And so taking that time and getting into the discipline of saying, what, I'm not even going to look at that yet. I've spoken to Carla about this. I've spoken to Ariel. I've spoken to all the leaders about this. It's like really just, making time. Oh yeah, the screen time block on iPhones, like Kristen says, yes. And that's actually something, if you really want to be mindful of how many of you know how much time you spend every single day on screen? If you guys have ever looked on if you have an iPhone, your iPhone will tell you, or Android, it will tell you. I actually challenge you guys to see, because it's actually a little alarming. And at least I speak. I mean, mine is bad. I'm telling you, mine is really bad. And it's like really, really, really. And I'm like, okay, now to me, I'm like, it's almost like a game now where I'm like, okay, how can I lower this? How can I be more mindful? And it's just all about being mindful about this. This is what this all is about. So I'm encouraging you guys to, one thing is maybe put your phone in the bathroom, and don't put it next to your bed, so that you have to actually get up and go, or maybe put it on your dresser where it's not directly next to your bed. And really, like I said, make it a practice where maybe you do your gratitude, and maybe you do your movement. I know some of us, we do the pre-workout dance. So yes, you can, that's different, but at least your mindfulness, at least, making, maybe some personal development before, or maybe you just you record your video and then you shut it back off again. And that's all discipline. It's all discipline. You don't have to go look at messages. You don't have to go look at your Instagram inbox. You don't have to go scrolling through. Because I've done this, guys. You literally can just open up your phone, record the video, and then, you can edit it later, but just be mindful. Be mindful of where your, what's the word I'm looking for? Where your traps are, right? It's like a trap. So just be mindful of that. So inspiration. So making sure that you're taking time every single morning to get inspiration, or every single day to find inspiration through your personal development, through your podcast. And especially right now, if you are having low energy, again, this is where we really need to lean into personal development. This is where personal development, guys, you never will be fully developed that you don't need personal development. I'm sorry. Like, if you think that you're going to get to a point where you don't need personal development, I'm sorry. Like, I'm here to tell you, like, we're always going to need to be working on ourselves. I mean, let's be honest. We're always going to need to be working on ourselves. We're always going to have something that we need to work on. And even when you think you have gotten through, you know, low self-worth, low self-confidence, fear, anxiety, all of these things that we've been conditioned for so long, I promise you, when you get to another level, you're going to notice there's going to be like another onion layer, and you're going to be like, where the hell did this come from? And you're going to have to look at it a different way, and you're going to have to process it and integrate it in a different way. So I'm telling you, personal development has to be something that you make a priority. It needs to be a non-negotiable, especially during this time. During this time, it has to be a non-negotiable. Yeah, like Ashley is saying, those damn layers, sneak attacks. It really is. It really is. You think that when you reach a certain level, you're like, I worked on my self-confidence. I worked on it. And then you get to a new level and you're like, I don't believe in myself at all. I don't think I can do this. I don't, you know, and you just go back into that negative hole. And so we always have to be working on ourselves. In the time, the M stands for meditation. Prayer, which is really nice that we have now a meditation app. But again, meditation is really, one thing that Jay Shetty said that I really love is that he said that meditation is a time to be present with yourself. And I think that's a beautiful way to look at meditation. And you can even write that down. Meditation is a way to be present with yourself, so that when you're sharing this with your clients and you're explaining to the public why this is important. Because again, if you're someone that has never meditated and you really haven't done a lot of personal development, it's really hard to really know yourself. You really don't know yourself. You know, how many of you like really have sat with yourself in silence for a while and just really like let your, like some of you like that, even the thought of that will give you anxiety of like, I don't even want, Kristen's like, I don't know, like, I don't know if I want to sit with myself and let these thoughts go wild. But I'm telling you, it's really important. It really is. You know, it's really important for you to sit with yourself and sit with those thoughts, because that is how you're really going to get to know yourself. You can't look outside of you for the answers about you. And, you know, and I tell this, you know, Luke and I have this conversation sometimes because, you know, he's someone who he's starting, he wants to get into meditation. He thinks a lot. He analyzes a lot. He's always too much. And look at Ashley's agreeing right there. Too much analyzing, very analytical, always thinking. You know, I'm like, man, like you're always thinking. And, you know, then you ask him something about himself and he's like, I don't know. And I'm just like, you know, what do you want? I don't know. I don't know. And I'm just like, okay, what do you mean you don't know? Like, you need to sit with yourself. He wants me to tell him, or he's looking for someone else to tell him. And it's like, no, it doesn't work like that. You have to search you. This is why I'm saying it's about coming back home to you. And if you want to have success in your business, if you want to have a transformation in your life, if you want to help other people have a transformation, you have to have the transformation first. You have to be your first transformation. And so again, so M stands for meditation. So really making time and really working towards making that a habit for yourself and helping others to have that habit. Last in the time and the E is exercise, which is great because that's something that we do. And so just moving our body, that speaks to the power of movement that someone like Jay Shetty or someone that we keep hearing, exercise, movement. Again, it's because that's how important it is to be moving our body. You guys know I talk a lot about how it moves our energy. And especially when we have low energy, we need to get up and move that energy and really cultivate and work through it, like my mom is doing right now. She's moving. And so just really asking yourself, you know, are you doing your exercise? Are you committed to a program? How many of you are committed to a program? You know, how many of you, okay, yeah, most of you are, but if you're not, you really take this as a reminder and an encouragement to commit to a program. That is how, you know, when people are like, I need to plan out what I need to do to have success in this business. And I need to, like, you know, have a plan. I'm like, the vital behaviors are your plan. It really is. Do your workout, like get your workout in, use the product, share your journey. Like that is the plan. It's don't make it more complicated than what it is. So making sure that you are recommitted to an exercise program. And we are, I don't want to say yet because, but we're going to be, we have a group that we're going to be doing. A lot of us are going to be doing together in November. So we'll let you guys know more details in that once we're going to be, the leaders and I are going to be meeting after this call to talk more about the details of that. But really, again, just a time to come together. And I'll talk more about community in a little bit, but really a time to come together and really end this year strong, because we need to be around each other right now, especially like when we're low. We need to kind of be fueling off of each other and maintaining that energy. And that's going to be really important. And then, and just again, doing something every day that brings you joy, a little something every day. And it could be, you know, and we all have different things that bring us joy. Maybe it's a bath, maybe it's coloring, maybe it's painting, maybe it's playing an instrument, you know, like, I don't know, guys, like dancing, like whatever it is, but doing something that brings you joy every single day. Because again, and this is even something I've told the leaders on our team, and I'm sharing, I say the leaders because I know a lot of you look up to the leaders and you think that they may not struggle, or you think that they always have it easy, or you think that they don't. Again, I was like, literally, I was telling them, I was like, guys, we need to go back to joy. We need to go back to why did we sign up as a coach? Why did we want to work? We wanted to work on ourselves, and we wanted to help one person or more work on themselves and be healthier. That is the basics. We cannot lose focus on that very simple basics. And ultimately, we always need to be working on us first. And then when we fill ourselves up, and when we have more joy, when we have that wellness, that total wellness, when we are focused on us, it is from that overflow that we then are able to present that to social media, present that to our clients, you know, attract other people into our business. So it's through an overflow. Okay. So always remember that it's through filling your own bucket first. And so if you're feeling, you know, burnt out, if you're feeling anxious, if you're feeling tired, if you're feeling, that's because, guys, you're not feeding yourselves first. You're not coming back home to yourself. So number one is like a big call to just come back home to you and utilize if anything, guys, if all you do between now and the end of this month, of this year, is just come home to you, I will be very happy. I really will. I will find joy in that, in knowing that you have been taking care of yourself, you know, and knowing some of you that if you are happy, because again, if you're happy, then you're motivated, then you're inspired, then you have more energy, then you're able to, you want to share more. And that's just how it is. And it's the opposite. When we're not happy and we're not motivated, then we don't want to share our journey, and we don't want to, you know, follow up with people, and we don't want to talk to people, and we just kind of want to just be like in our bed with the covers, you know, watching Amazon, you know, watching Netflix, not Amazon. Or maybe you are watching Amazon and you're shopping and you're spending money, you know, on Amazon Prime or something that out of boredom. So either way. So anyway, but yeah. So number one is coming back home to you, and it starts with you. Ultimately, your success starts with you. And that's most important. Number two is working with your team. So when it comes to, you know, ending this year strong, it's connecting back into the team. It's getting back to these team calls. It's, you know, connecting in with the pods. You're going to see that a lot of us, we're going to be going back into our pods, and we're doing kind of like a clean house. And all we're doing really with that is we're just saying, okay, look, we don't want a pod. We don't need a pod filled with people who are not going to participate. That's not the whole purpose of the pod, because a lot of us, we actually thrive on the energy of others. We really do. You know, those of us, we thrive. We're like, oh, this person's doing great, or they're like talking. And that's how I want you to think about it. When you see an active pod, don't let it overwhelm you. Like, just look at it as energy. Look at it as like it's an active group. And you want to be around people that are active, and you want to be around people that are working towards their goals. And so just really, you know, remembering that this business is based on relationships, period. It's based on all types of relationships. The number one relationship is the relationship with yourself, right? That's the number one relationship. And then after that, it's the relationship with others, it's the relationship with your team. And, you know, so just really, you know, coming together, supporting one another. and, you know, and showing each other that we care about one another, showing each other that we're here to support. If you see people who are welcoming people into the team page, welcome them, you know, or if you see a question that's being asked in your pod and you know the answer, answer the question, you know, or just, you know, or just offer support. Or again, it's all about community. Now you had something you wanted to say about, from Martina, about the fire.
Yeah. So I know you stole a lot of my points, but one thing that I wanted to mention is one of the leaders on the leadership weekend just share something very interesting about creating like team spirit and team culture. So think of the team that we are like as a bonfire. And we all come around this fire because the fire represents pretty much this goal that we have. So we all come together because we have a similar goal and a similar vision. But really in our bonfire, this is a time where all of us come together and there isn't really just one conversation happening at that particular moment. There's like a bunch of people around that fire for different reasons, but we all there because we all like to be with one another. And so in our team, you kind of want to think along those lines. When you come together, this is the family where you get to express everything that goes well or that may not go well with you. This is really the environment where you get to test the waters in terms of like what you want to post, what you are doing, your leadership skills, whatever the case may be. Because the people in that bonfire are your family members. So you have to think along those lines. If I don't feel comfortable enough to express to those people that love me and support me what it is that I'm doing or how I want to portray myself out there, where do you think you're going to build that comfort or that energy to just go out there in the world and talk with strangers that have no clue who you are and what you got to offer and what it is that you're doing? So this is what Stephanie was saying in terms of like in a team, like you want to be proactive and active and like talk. This is the time where like when sometimes you may feel like, oh, I don't know what to say or like I don't feel inspired. The people around that bonfire, this is one of the things that we can help you with. Mm-hmm. So you definitely want to take the time to use the people around you and like go over the things that you want to say or what you're not really sure of. And people will be able to bounce ideas off of you and you'll be able to know, okay, that seems inspiring, but also you might also be able to listen to all the other conversation and that may also inspire you to just go out there and share and feel more confident and share whatever it is that you want to share.
And just know that you're not alone. I think that's the key thing. If you choose to be alone, I'm sorry, that's on you.
You're not, yeah.
It's not that it's a choice. It's a choice. Because there are enough of us that show up, you know, where it's not our job to be like individually knocking on every single one of you. You know, like you have to understand that wouldn't be fair for us either. But just know that's why we have pods. It's why we have these team calls. It's why, you know, people either have coffee chats or group Q&As. It's really for that community. It's for that community aspect. And also when you come into the community and you share your struggles, just know you're not alone in your struggles. And I even think that in itself helps because I think some of us, we tend to really think we're so hard on ourselves and we think that we're the only one struggling or we're the only one that is, you know, thinks a certain way or we're the only one that is having a hard time and you'd be surprised the moment I start talking to people, they're like, I'm struggling here. I don't have, you know, I want to quit here or I'm thinking about quitting or, you know, I think I'm not a good coach. And it's just like, again, you'd be surprised, but go ahead.
It is very easy in this big team and big family that we are like to get lost. And sometimes the newcomers may think that, oh, by looking at the leaders and the people that are very vocal and active that, oh, since I'm not like that person, then maybe I shouldn't say anything. You'll be surprised how some of the newbies or newcomers, you inspire us because in a lot of ways, you remind us and you bring us back to what it was like when we started. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you get to high levels and you want to maintain, and then within that maintenance, you get very complacent. And sometimes some of you are great reminders of, oh, that's what I got to go back to. Just those small little activities every day, even though sometimes you may feel like, I don't know what I'm doing or is it even working? Sometimes it is those small little actions that you do constantly that lead you back to a path of success. And you're like, oh, okay, That's what it was like when I got started, and that's what I got to go back to. So don't feel like you got to be at this level to just inspire other people. Some of you inspire us. Like, we talk about you because we see the work that you're doing, and you remind us of what it was like when we got started. And sometimes those reminders are some of the best things that we need to see and hear in order for us to keep moving forward and be successful.
And every single one of you matters. And what I mean by that is, like, I love our diversity within our team, and I love in all different ways. And just know that, all of our different personalities, are needed. We can't have all of the same type of personality. We can't have all of the same type of team, because we wouldn't be able to create, as big of an impact as we would, and we wouldn't be able to learn from one another. Yep. One thing you learn about successful companies and teams is that they're incredibly diverse in their personalities, and they have different values, and they have different priorities. And it's important to have those differences. It's important, and it's important that we all learn from one another. And so I want you to know that you are, you deserve to be at this table or around this fire. And we want you to be vocal, and we want you to share your thoughts and your struggles, because it allows all of us, to learn how to communicate with one another. And just know that whatever you are struggling with within your business, all it is a skill set that you need to build. Like, even right now, I'm like, okay, for me, I'm like, procrastination is something that is huge for me. It's huge for me. And I'm like, I'm actually looking at it. I'm actually going to start looking at it as like, man, this is something I need to master within myself. And this is a skill. This is a weakness within me that I need to master within myself. And if I can transform this, I know it's going to be something I can help people with, but I got to do it for myself first. And I'm just like, and even things like time management, I'm like, man, I really struggle with time management. This is something I need to master for myself. And again, it's not that I'm saying, man, because I suck at time management, because I can't have success. No, I'm like, okay, this is something, if I really want to have success, I know it's important that I do this. And so for you, what are the skills, that you need in order to have success, and really thinking about that. And don't think that because you don't have it that you can't have success. No, it's just like, okay, this is something I need to focus on. And, and in the process, you may come out with a new skill set that you're now going to be able to add value to the marketplace, right? You're going to be able to add value to your audience of like, look, I know what it was like. I didn't know how to, manage my time. I would wait to the last minute, and this is how I did it. Or, I was an emotional eater, and this is how I did it. Or I suffered from bad anxiety, and this is how I got, this is how I worked through it. Or I had really bad depression, and I was suicidal, and this is how I picked myself out of this hole. All of these things are going to matter. And like, at the end of the day, that's why I'm saying, like, you are your number one in your first transformation. But plugging into the team and working with your team is just as important. So number 3, so number 1 was coming back home to you. Number 2 is working with your team. Number 3 is knowing your goals, right? What are your goals, and what is it that you're working towards? And, and really, and actually guys, like even this weekend in this personal development event, they asked us, they're like, okay, what are your 2021 goals? To be honest, I hadn't even thought about 2021 yet. I was like, I'm still in 2020 trying to finish. I'm like, what's my November goals? You asking me what's like my 2021 goals? And I haven't even like, oh, wow, I guess you're right. I should be. And I'm like, wow, you're right. Like, I need to be thinking, what are my 2021 goals? As a leader, as a leader for you guys, and also as a leader of my life, and at the end of the day, we have to become the leader of ourselves first. We have to lead ourselves first. And one thing that they shared is, really thinking about, when it comes to, number 1, do you have goals? What are they? To be very, you guys all know about goal setting, but just really, having very specific goals, having tangible goals, and just really thinking, okay, by the end of November, I want to accomplish this. By the end of December, I want to help this many people. I want to complete this program. I want to, have this many days of, doing meditation every week, but just having goals in all areas of your life. And that's important too. I think, some people think that we only care about your business. I'm telling you, that's like, honestly, that's more like on the lower, like I care about your life. I care about, your relationships, your marriage, your spirituality. I care more about that. And it's like, what are your goals in those areas? What are your goals for your finances? Do you want to, do you want to eliminate debt? Do you want to, put away some money in savings? What are your goals? Because again, all of these areas, what are your goals for your relationships? If you're a mom, what are your goals as a mother? Like all of these things need goals. And so what you learn, and this is what I love about this business, because what you learn as an entrepreneur you can really apply it to many aspects of your life, you know, because running a household is almost like running a business. Those of you who run a household, it's like, you know, you have to really learn how to work with other people. And so just really being mindful, you know, get back into your goals. Don't say like, man, it's October, this year's over. No, that is not how a CEO works. That's not how a business, you know, an entrepreneur thinks. They're like, nope, it is the middle of the month. What do I want to accomplish over the next 2 weeks? What do I want to accomplish in November? Get specific, write it down, right? Write it down in a journal, put it in, you know, or whatever your workbook is that you do, that you write these things down in.
Actually, now is the fourth quarter. So most businesses go really hard to get back into the black. So they do like a whole bunch of sales. And
well, this is a big,
Yeah. So now is the time. Now is the fourth quarter. So.
I mean, this is when a lot of people make their money, to be honest. This is a lot of people when a lot of businesses make their money, Black Friday, Christmas. This is the
season.
We think is the end of the year. This is like the quarter for a lot of businesses, especially retail businesses, to really, you know, create the success that they've been wanting to all year.
And they're pushing hard.
Another thing that Jay Shetty told a story that I thought was really interesting that I want to share with you guys is, and it had everything to do with thinking about skills, right? Thinking about what skills. And so he tells the story that Buddha, that he shares. And he shares a story about how there was a man who came across a turbulent river. He came across a turbulent river that he wanted to cross. He was like, how the hell am I going to cross this river? If I go into the water, I'm going to be swept away and I'm going to die. So then he starts looking around. And he sees bamboo. He sees something that he can tie the bamboo with. And then all of a sudden he's like, oh, I have an idea. So he creates a raft. He creates a raft with the supplies around him. So he creates the raft. He puts it on the water. He gets in the raft, and then he's able to get across the river. So he gets to the other across the river, and he's elated. He's like, oh my God, I got across. And he's like, he holds on to this raft, and he's like, oh my God, I love this. Like this, like saved my life. If I didn't have this, I wouldn't be able to cross this river, and I needed to cross this river. And so this is a really good tool. It's a really good skill. So then he puts it on his back. He puts it on, and he starts walking. He starts walking, and he has this like big raft on his back, and he's like, you know, walking through, and then all of a sudden he gets to a forest. And he gets to a forest, and there's a lot of trees. And he needs to go through the trees to get to his next destination. So then he starts going through, and he has this thing on his back, and he can't get through because it keeps hitting the trees, and he keeps getting stuck. And he realizes that he needs to let go of the raft in order for him to move through the trees. And so, and this is a metaphor, if you guys can't tell yet, this is a metaphor of like, what mindset do you need to let go of that has maybe gotten you to this point, but it's not going to get you to the next point? Or what skill set that you've been holding on to, or you know, kind of sometimes when we do something new and we get so good at it and we're like, I gotta do this, and it's like, it serves us until it no longer serves us. And realizing that certain mindsets, certain ways of thinking, certain skills, maybe were only meant to get us to this point. And being open and willing to say, you know what, maybe I need to release this, and I need to think differently in order to get to this next point, in order to get to this next level, and to grow to this next level. So I want you guys to think about that. Again, you know, and this could be limiting beliefs. This can be, you know, I need to do things this way, and it needs to be exactly this way. And it's like, well, no, maybe you don't need as much structure, and maybe you need more flow, right? Maybe you don't need, you know, maybe having structure serves certain key areas of your life, but maybe you need to learn how to flow a little bit more in order to go to the next level. Again, we all have this is gonna be different for everyone, because we all have different, you know, different agendas and different ways and different missions that are on our heart. Oh, somebody is, okay. So yeah, so just really thinking about that. So I thought that was a really good kind of analogy, and I was like, oh, that's actually really good. And so just asking yourself, what skills and tools do you need to leave behind to get to your new level? And then again, and so just really, and then one thing to think about when you're setting goals, which I thought this was really good too, that I learned this weekend, is that when you're setting goals, there's almost like a path for goals that accomplish from when you set them to accomplishing them. This path has to do with when you set a goal, the first thing you kind of ask yourself is, what do I need to learn? So it's learn. What do I need to learn? What skill set do I need to learn? What, mindset do I need to learn? What do I need to learn in order to achieve that goal? So it's learn. The next step is experiment. This is where we have the potential and we do fail. This is where the trial and error comes in, right? It's like, okay, I have this goal. I learned this skill. Now I need to experiment. And so this experimentation is almost mandatory, guys. And I want you to realize that there's always level of experimentation in business, and there's continued experimentation in business. It's called innovation, right? It's when businesses who do not innovate, they fail, they go bankrupt. And so it's the same, like we're the same way. And when we have our goals, we need to be willing to experiment. So trial and error. The third stage is performing. This is when we're like, okay, we figured this out. Now I'm going to start performing. And this is where we start feeling the momentum. We're like taking action. We're like, yeah, this is going good. Like we're like doing it. And like, I'm doing well. I'm getting likes. I'm getting some people who are interested, and they're saying maybe they're interested. And then after perform is struggle. It's struggle. It's like, because there's an obstacle that happens, or there's a setback that happens. And we have to move past that. We need to keep our mind on the vision and keep our mind on the idea that we are going to achieve, but we need to keep pivoting. Maybe, the experimentation maybe didn't really end at experimentation level. Maybe it's like, okay, I need to continue to pivot. What serves me, what doesn't? So we pivot. And then as we pivot and we stay moving forward, we stay consistent, working towards our goals, that's when we thrive. And that's when we accomplish our goal. So it's a step, it's like a phase. And every single time we set a goal, it's like it's going through that whole phase. And there's no timeline on that phase. I wish there was like a set timeline that I knew for sure, but it could be 5 months, it could be 5 years. I don't know. But the key thing is that you have to know within your heart that no matter what, you're going to achieve and get to that thrive stage of that path, and accomplish your goal. So remember that. All right. So talking about knowing your goal, number 4 is to have a plan, and to really, get specific and have a non-negotiable list of tasks that you should be doing every single day to help you reach your goals. Really asking yourself, and always asking yourself, if the actions that you're doing every single day, do they align with your goals? Do the actions? Is scrolling through social media mindlessly, does that align with your goals? No, at the end of the day, it doesn't. And just being mindful of that, and being mindful of, what are you reading? What are you feeding your mind? And just making sure that if you're getting off task, if you're losing focus, that you get yourself back on focus, and that you get yourself back on task. And so obviously we have our vital behaviors when it comes to this business. And so going back to the vital behaviors, following that, making that a non-negotiable, getting discipline on that, and knowing, because many of you, when you do follow that, you feel good, you feel accomplished, you feel like you're building momentum. So going back to that, again, the basics always stay the basics. And that's one thing we learn from all leaders who have success, even people who are incredibly successful with major organizations within this business and incredible financial freedom, is that they all do the basics. They all do the basics. It never changes the basics. So making sure that you have a plan, maybe looking at your plan, making sure that you're blocking time for the activities that you want to do. Again, looking at your time management skills. Maybe that's a skill that you need to continue to develop, but just being mindful, making sure that you have a plan, set a to-do list for the week, for the day, and for the month, right? Have a to-do list for the month. A lot of people what's that saying that Tony Robbins says? Like, a lot of people underestimate what they can do in a year. No, they underestimate what they can do in 10 years, but they overestimate what they can do in a year. So you think you can get all this stuff accomplished in a year. You overestimate, you're like, I'm gonna do this. But you underestimate what you can do in 10 years. And you can apply that in a month. You overestimate what you can get done in a month. But maybe throughout the whole year, if you really actually look at the year and you really, or the quarter, or you plan for it, you may be able to get more done. And I think this is just being real with ourselves, right? We all know our limitations. We all know when we put too much on our plate. We all know. And again, it's all about prioritizing. This is why planning is important, because planning allows you to prioritize. And all of us need to be prioritizing what's important to us. And ultimately, like I said, your health and your wellness is number one. It's at the top. Even with your family, guys, you have to be taking care of yourselves. You have to be prioritizing your wellness. You have to be, filling your bucket first before you start doing anything, before you start saying yes to everyone else. And that's going to be so important. So just be mindful of that. So making sure that you're prioritizing your business, your wellness, whatever your goals are in this season of your life. This is a season. So whatever those goals are. So number 4 is planning. And then number 5 is focus, your focus. What is your focus on every single day? Are you really focusing on the things that are really important to your wellness, to your business, to your family's life? Where are you putting your energy? Because wherever your focus is, that is what you're going to be creating. Literally, that is what you're going to be creating. And whatever you focus on, you're going to be asking for more of that. So if you've been focusing all upon how you suck as a coach, guess what? That's going to put you down a path of like, I suck as a coach, and it's going to keep your energy is going to drain, and you're not going to do anything. And you're just going to, that's just going to tumble into, not being successful at all. And so you have to change your focus. And so, and also, are you feeding the negative thoughts, or are you feeding your positive thoughts? Are you, and if you're someone that tends to feed your negative thoughts more, personal development. And some of you have, it'll be great. Some of you share, there have been people who had really negative mindsets and really low energy, and they started doing personal development, and it changed their life. And it shifted their life. And again, it's important to make sure that you're doing personal development. So one thing, is that I wrote here that I said is that you want to be good. So one thing about like being an entrepreneur, which we all are, if you're in this business, it's because you're an entrepreneur. And many of us, we have been conditioned to be an employee. And an employee does what they are told, right? At the end of the day, an employee does what they are told. All of you who have a job, you are told what to do for the most part. Some of you have some reign, but for the most part, many of you are told what to do. You're told a task, you're given a quota, whatever it is, you're like, this is what you need to do. And you're like, okay, I'm going to do this. And then you check off your list and you get this done. Very different world as an entrepreneur. So one thing I do recommend, in terms of the entrepreneurial minds, reading books about entrepreneurship, Darren Hardy, really getting yourself, starting to think like a CEO and a business woman, and really putting yourself into that mindset, because being in business, being an entrepreneur is a very different mindset, guys. Very different mindset. We just came from Danny Johnson, and Danny Johnson talks about the 2% and the 98%. People who went to there's a couple of people in here, they know what I'm talking about. But basically, it's that 2% of people are really the ones that end up financially independent at the end of their life, and 98% of people end up dead or broke. So that's 98% of people. And that's the mentality. And so the idea is that there's, 2% of people who end up financially independent, they think a certain way. They think differently. And, then the 98% of the people. And all of you, that's what you're doing by being in this team, by being in business for yourself. You literally have to decondition the programming of the 98%. You have to decondition the programming of the employee mindset. You have to decondition that. And that is something that could, so that's what I'm saying, work on that, because ultimately, you have to be good at mastering yourself. You have to become the master of yourself, and you have to be good at directing yourself. As an employee, as an entrepreneur, you have to be good at directing yourself. It's not waiting for me to tell you what to do, Chelsea to tell you what to do, Carla, Ariel. We're not your boss. We're not your boss. You as an employee, I keep saying employee, you as a business person, as a businesswoman, as an entrepreneur, the onus is on you, to have a level of that, of figuring things out, of learning things, of researching things. Again, that's how we all learned, but just knowing that, just really being good at directing yourself and mastering yourself. And the number one thing you need to master is your energy. Number one thing you need to master. I'm telling you that, and even like I said, if it takes you 3 years of being a coach to master your energy, I promise you those 3 years, even though you may not see business success in the terms of like making money the way you would like to, if it takes you 3 years to master your energy, I promise you it will be worth it. I promise you it will be worth it if you can see the benefit in that. that to be able to master your energy and to stay motivated and to create vision in your life and to really want more in your life. Because you have to understand, some people come into business and they come into coaching, and you may be one of them. You may have been one of them. And you're like, yes, I want to build a business. And yes, I want to be this, have this great success. But honestly, you may not be ready for it. You may not be ready for it because maybe you have a really poor mindset. And, what are you going to do when you have a team of 50, 100 people looking up to you and you have a shitty mindset? And you are, at the first, negative outcome, you give up. You want to give up. Or the first rejection, or the first, complicated conversation, or the first, it's going to challenge you. And one thing that they said this weekend, which I thought was really good, it was, Dana Johnson can sometimes be more spiritual as well. But she had a guy, and she says, he says at the end of the day, God, or whatever you want to believe, but the idea is that God will never put something in your life that you're not ready for. So if you don't have what you want yet, it's because you're not quite ready for it yet. And a lot of times, if you want to reach a certain level of success, there's some forming, there's some, you have to become someone, and there's some things that you need to let go of within your mindset and your way of being and your way of thinking. And that may take time for some people, and that's okay. That's okay. Again, if you continue to work on yourself and you focus on yourself and you work on your mindset, again, that is where creative ideas come from. It comes from you. It doesn't come from someone else. And it comes from, you getting to know yourself more. So just know that ultimately what you're doing in this business, that's why I like our specific business, is that you're literally learning to master yourself and you're learning to direct yourself. And don't get discouraged if you have a lot of stuff to work on. It doesn't mean you can't have success in this business. It just means you need to get through yourself first. You need to get through yourself first. One thing he said this weekend that was really good too was that, like, sometimes, what did he say? And I thought that was good. It was like so sometimes when God has a big plan on your life, this is what it was. It was like when God has a big plan on your life, he will isolate you. He will isolate you so that he can work on you and that he can work through. It's because he has a great mission for you, but he needs to work on you and you alone. And so he will isolate you and take you away from the things in your life that you thought you needed, when he's like, nope, I'm gonna take these things away, and it's gonna be me and you, and I'm gonna break you. And he's gonna break you until, anyway, I don't want this to become like spiritual religious, but like, you get what I'm saying. And what I'm saying, there's no pastor here, but you get, what I'm saying is that again, there's a level there's a level that we have to get to within ourselves. And depending on how consistent we are with our own journey, how stubborn we are, how willing we are to listen and learn and pivot and surrender and all of these things, we have to, just be mindful of that. And if it means that it takes you your whole first year of, never giving up, but maybe you don't see the success that you want in a business, on the business side, but yet you're getting physical transformations, you find that you're not as, sarcastic as you used to be, or you're not as like, negative thinking as you used to be, or you're not as, you're not the way that you used to be, that's a good thing. And it means progress. And that is, to me, that's a success. It may not be the success that you want right now, but don't lose faith, because
that's a success that you need.
It's a success that you need so that you can get to that next level. So anyway, so those are the 5 steps. And so just to recap, so work on you. Number 2 is work with your team. Number 3 is know your goals. Number 4 is know your plan. And then 5 is what's your focus. And so again, guys, this is the last quarter, and one thing I want you to know, guys, is that people need us more than ever. I was hearing this weekend, I don't know who said it, but something like addictions, for example, they said that addictions are up 30 to 40% in our country, and these are negative addictions, and people are, turning to old habits, and depression is up, and anxiety is up, and fear is up. Right? All of these things are up within our country, which means that there is a hole for us to fill. There is a service that we can provide with our mission of wanting to help people live healthier lives by focusing on themselves. So know that, again, we have a country that needs, and there's so many people out there that need our help, and they need your voice. They need your story. They need you and what you've been through and how you communicate and how you show up. And it's not that and just know that there's a place for you, and know that there's room for you. And so I want you guys to like use this call as just a commitment to recommit to your goals for this year, recommit to a few goals that you want to accomplish by the end of this year, and start looking at 2021 and realize that whatever your 2021 goals, like some of you who have certain goals within Beachbody, you have certain, ranks or certain financial goals that you want to hit in 2021. Well, it starts now. If you have a financial goal that you want to hit in 2021 with this business, it starts now. It absolutely starts now, because it's all the compounding effect. So making sure that you are, doing these things and just getting back on track, and just knowing, guys, that you're not alone in how you feel. We're all human. We're all going to have low spurts. We're all going to feel like, that we're not doing enough, or we're not good enough. But again, these are all our negative thoughts that we need to just kind of reprogram and keep being mindful that these things are coming up. And to have fun, as my mom said. That's what she said. Make sure that you are having fun. Why can't I see the chat? Oh, there it is.
Click on it.
Okay, awesome. All right, guys, so that is all I have for you. I just wanted to see, let's see, 100% me. One of the recorded power hours on HYP talks about business development. And then I love that it's not just about business goals. That helps me a lot. Yes, the path of a goal reminds me of the timeline or layout of a movie. Yep. And just going to call myself out on that right now. That speaks so loud to me right now. Yeah, excellent. Thanks. Yeah. So I hope this was helpful for you guys. And I hope that this, gives you a burst and gives you something to chew on and think about, and to really just kind of, whatever it is that you've been going through, whatever it is that you've been thinking, it's like, okay, like, it's not about throwing ourselves a pity party here, right? We're not here to put ourselves and keep in this negative. Again, ultimately, you are in control of your mindset. You are in control of your energy. So if you want to keep thinking negatively, go ahead. It's going to come with a consequence. Just know that. And that's fine. You can do that. You may need to do that. I don't know. But just know that it comes with consequence. It comes with an outcome. There's cause and effect. So don't get mad if you are thinking a certain way and you're not doing the activities, and you're, and you don't see the results that you want. You didn't put in the effort and the work. And if you find that you're getting back into old habits, again, remember, it's all about moving forward. It's not about going back. We're not trying to go back into old habits. And all of you know that we all are growing. We all need to expand. We all need new habits. If we didn't need new habits, we would have the success that we wanted. And none of us have exactly what we want in the capacity that we want, which means that we need to become that version of ourselves. And so again, and just know, and guys, and you may say, man, I got to work on so many things. And you don't need to work on all of them all at once. Pick one thing, one small thing, that's going to really help you, that's going to help you move towards your goal. You pick that one thing, you make that a goal. Maybe it's, hey, I'm going to make sure I get exercise, or maybe I'm going to make sure I meditate, or maybe I'm going to make sure that I eat better, because what you eat, guys, affects your mindset. It affects your focus. It affects how tired you are. So, being mindful of, we could have a whole talk about nutrition. We could have a whole talk on how nutrition literally can, help you lose your motivation, with all, there's a whole, there's a lot. Just know that we need to be mindful of what we're eating and what we're putting into our body, because it definitely affects, our ability to think. It affects our ability to visualize. It affects our ability to be productive. So all of those things matter. So just, take one thing that you want to accomplish, and just know, guys, like, at the end of the day, like, what do you have to lose by working on yourself? What do you have to lose by going all in on yourself? Nothing. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain by going all in on yourself. And it's like this, and this is something I genuinely believe this. It's like game. One thing I heard this weekend was like, game time is over. It's like, game time is over. It's done. You're either in or you're not. It's like, you're either going to go all the way or you're not. And that really resonated with me, because I genuinely feel that. I feel that for our society overall. Like, I'm like, this shit is done. Like, game time is over. It's like, we need to make changes in our life, in our society. And I believe changes in society starts with the individual, period. It starts with us. It starts with every individual impacting their society, impacting their families, impacting their community, period. That is how things are going to change in our country. And so I feel, you know, I feel that mission, and I'm proud to align with a company that has to do with health and wellness, and it really pushes me to be better, and it pushes me to become better. And I want to encourage you. And the last thing I want to say is, especially when it comes to community, guys, surround yourself with people that are really motivated to the point where it makes you uncomfortable. You want to be, do you guys hear what I'm saying? You want to be made uncomfortable, because it is a lot of you don't want to be uncomfortable. You like being comfortable. You like staying in your little box with your little snuggie, you know, your blanket, and like with your cat. You know, you like, it's like, this is safe in here. But I'm telling you, that is not going to help you grow. I'm sorry. You need to put yourself out of your comfort zone, and surrounding yourself with people that are driven, that are going to push you. Don't get mad at them. Don't and realize that discomfort that you may be feeling, it's because you know better. And it's because your spirit's like, you can do this too. You can have success too. You can be successful too. You can have these dreams that you want. You can accomplish, but you keep giving into your own shit. You keep, giving into your own negative thoughts. You keep giving into all of these things, right? But that discomfort, I'm telling you, I honestly believe that's why I've had any success in my life, is that I've always put myself around people that are more successful than me. And I have allowed that discomfort to eat away at me until I'm like, until I'm like, I never left, but it really had to eat away at me until I was like, I can't take this anymore. I need to take action, because this is ridiculous. Like, I'm ridiculous. Like, this is like, what I'm telling myself is ridiculous. Like, and again, we all have to get to that point. And that point can take a year, 5 years, 10 years. You decide. But just know that you can accomplish whatever it is that you want to accomplish, and that you have a team here that's really motivated. You have leaders here that are very motivated, that are here to help you dream big and visualize big. And the more that you pull away, you're not going to feel that fire. You're going to go back to your old habits, go back to the old crowd, the old life, the old things. And you're going to get the same old stuff.
Come back to that bonfire.
So you have to come back to the bonfire, like Luke said, and come back home to you. Come back home. And that also means, and I know this is going longer than usual, and I apologize, but I really want to, just go back home to you. Like, and when I say go back home to you, it's removing all those layers, all that programming, all those filters, all those things that are really not you, that maybe you've been conditioned and you've thought and you've been telling yourself, and it's really coming back to your authentic self. And that is a journey. I believe that's a journey that will go in itself, or that will go till we die. But just know that that's the journey. It's coming back home to you. And this is the first layer of just, making this a habit of your exercise, your nutrition, your personal, your personal growth. So all of that's really important. All right. So that's the end of that. All right, guys. Well, thank you. Thank you for your attention. And, thank you for all of you. Most of you for staying on, and I greatly appreciate it. And again, like I said, we have a couple team opportunity calls this week going on. I know I think Chelsea's doing one this week with her team. I'm also doing one with Jessica. And so there'll be a couple you'll see. And then also on Wednesday, I'm going to put in the team page, I'm going to be doing a 24 hours to Emerald call on Wednesday evening. And then don't forget about the power hours that the teams are hosting. And yes, let's just come together, guys. We need to come together, and we need to go after our goals, and we need to just really hold each other accountable, and really push ourselves and push each other to be better and to show up better. And that is something, that's what we're here. That is what community really is. And so, I rely on you guys, just as much as I feed off of you guys just as much as you feed off of the lead. Like, we all feed off of each other. So let's really put our head down. Let's get back in focus. Let's work on our goals. Let's end this year strong. Like, let's not be like the year is over. No, it's just, let's keep moving forward, and let's keep going towards what we want to accomplish. Alrighty, guys. Well, thank you. Thank you guys so much for coming on. And did someone get a picture? Did someone get a picture? Let me see. Hold on. All right, I'll do a boomerang. All right, ready? Start moving. 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Thank you. All right, ladies, enjoy. Bye.